The Westin Reserva Conchal or the W Costa Rica. Same beach location, totally different resorts. And in this video, we'll help you compare and contrast the two so you can decide which one is right for your trip. If you're planning your trip to Costa Rica and you're trying to decide between these two resorts on Playa Conchal, you're not alone. When Claire and I were planning our first trip to Costa Rica, we were trying to decide between the W and the Westin. We knew we wanted to be on Playa Conchal, but we couldn't decide between the two resorts. And this question is in many ways what led to the creation of this YouTube channel. We couldn't find any videos that really very helpfully detailed the differences between the two resorts. So now that we've been to both of those resorts multiple times, we decided to start taking the research that we had done, along with the experiences that we've had, take the cinematic footage that we've shot on our trips, put all of that together, and start creating the videos that we wish that we would have had on our first trip to Costa Rica to help you plan your trip to Costa Rica with confidence. In this video, we're going to talk about the 5 most significant differences between the Westin and the W. And at the end of this video, we'll bring all of that together and make some practical recommendations for who should stay at which resort. Because the goal of this video is not just to compare 2 luxury resorts, it's to answer the one burning question: which one's right for you? So cue the music and let's dive in. If you're comparing these 2 resorts, and you likely already know that they're both right next to each other on Playa Conchal. Here's the drone shot. Here's Playa Conchal. Here's the Westin. Here's the W. Playa Conchal has been repeatedly recognized as the #1 beach in the world. So either resort, you're gonna be at a beach that can't be beat. The same location obviously also means the same distance, the same drive from the airport after you fly in. Liberia's Guanacaste Airport is about an hour-and-a-half drive to either the Westin or the W. Both resorts are located inside of Reserva Conchal. Reserva Conchal is a 2,300-acre nature preserve with controlled security access to this area. But the similarity here actually hides one of the most significant differences between these 2 resorts. And so we're going to talk about that in just a minute. At both resorts, you're going to have access to free rental gear like paddle boards, kayaks, snorkeling gear, all through Swiss Travel, a company that both the W and the Westin partner together with to offer these things to their guests. Both of these resorts are part of the Marriott family. That means that not only will your Marriott Elite status be beneficial to you at either one of these resorts, but it also means you can book either one with Marriott points. The price for a basic room at both resorts is typically going to be about the same, in the same ballpark at least, but what you get for that price is very different. So let's take a look now at the 5 most significant differences between the Westin and the W. And then I'll make some practical recommendations about who should stay at each one of these resorts. First, the location. Now, it's interesting because the location is one of the things that's a similarity for these resorts, but it actually hides one of the most significant differences. Because while they're both right there in the jungle on Playa Conchal, the W is up on a hill, while the Westin is sitting down on ocean level. And that means that when you're staying at the W, from most of the locations on the resort, you can see the ocean. So here's a view from the balcony in Tower 3. Here's a view from the balcony in Tower 5. The view from the adults only pool. Here's the view from breakfast at Cocina de Mercado. Lots of ocean views at the W. Well, that's not really going to be the case at the Westin. While the Westin is literally right next door, it's not on a hill. So the view of the ocean at the Westin is obstructed by the trees. That's not to say that the Westin isn't a gorgeous property, but for the most part, 99.9% of the rooms at the Westin and the entire property is all in the forest, in the jungle, surrounded by mango trees and other things. So you just don't see the ocean when you're on the property at the Westin until you actually walk out to the beach. This isn't the most significant difference. The difference for kids and adults is pretty big too, and we'll cover that in a minute. But let me ask, if you're finding this video helpful, you just tap the thumbs up button. That helps us to know which kinds of videos that we make are most helpful for people as we think through what the next videos are that we should make. The second difference between the Westin and the W is just the overall vibe. There's nothing wrong with the vibe at either one of them. It's just a very different vibe at each of the resorts. So it depends on what kind of a trip you want this to be. The Westin is very much a family-friendly party vibe. You know, kids splashing at the pool, grandparents sitting in lounge chairs, mom and dad grabbing drinks at the swim-up bar. While the W is going to be a much more mature adult vibe. Mature couples in their 30s and 40s having drinks together at the pool, and a retired couple sitting at the bar having a conversation over a glass of wine. Mood lighting, Instagrammable decor. Maybe one of the best ways to kind of explain this to you is to explain the difference in the music that's being played at each resort. That gives you a huge feel for the difference. At the Westin, it's going to be something like this. They'll be playing Margaritaville and Michael Jackson, Ed Sheeran and Aerosmith, while the music at the W is going to sound something like this. More down-tempo, chill step. You know, lots of songs with no lyrics, and this is kind of the vibe at the W. In fact, let's keep rolling that music while we talk about the difference at each resort for kids and adults, and then we'll look at the differences in the rooms and suites. The third most significant difference between the Westin and the W is the difference in the experience for kids and adults. Each resort has a kids club, and each resort has an adults-only area. The Westin Kids Club is fully loaded. There's always kids there. It's big, it's busy. It's obviously a very popular spot, and there's gonna be a lot of kids there. The Kids Club at the Westin is for kids above the age of 4. They also have a babysitting service for kids under the age of 4. The W has a kids club, but it's much smaller. There's much less features to the kids club, and it's not going to be as busy there. It's actually likely that if you check your kids into the kids club at the W, they'll be the only kids there. In fact, at the W, they only staff the kids club if you've scheduled it in advance. Whereas at the Westin, the kids club is just always open. It's always busy. There's always staff there because there's always kids there. On the other hand, the same is going to be true of the adults only area at both resorts. The adults only area at the Westin is much larger. It's much more fully featured. It has a huge outdoor space. There's an indoor space as well. There's even a DIY drink station where you can mix yourself a drink. Now, the downside to the adults only area at the Westin is there's no ocean view. It's still an amazing place. It's gorgeous there, but there's not a view of the ocean. The W does have an adults-only area surrounding the adults-only pool. There is a bar there. There's an incredible ocean view through the trees. It is a little smaller. It's a little less fully featured. The bar there, you're gonna pay for your drinks, whereas at the Westin, because it's an all-inclusive resort, all of your drinks in the adults-only area are gonna be taken care of as well. There's no indoor space as a part of the W's adults-only area. Meanwhile, that brings us to the fourth difference between the Westin and the W, and that's the rooms and the overall design. The rooms at the W are just slightly larger than the rooms at the Westin. So here's the basic room at the W, known as the Wonderful Escape. It's gonna come in at about 614 square feet, while the same basic room at the Westin is gonna be the Deluxe Junior Suite, coming in at 538 square feet. Most of the rooms at the W are going to have an ocean view. This is, again, because the W is up on a hill, but also because the rooms at the W are actually in 5-story and 6-story towers that are sitting on top of the hill. So most of the balconies at the W have at least a partial ocean view, if not for most of them, a full ocean view, while none of the rooms at the Westin are going to have an ocean view. We've had people ask, how do I get an oceanfront balcony at the Westin? And the short answer is, you don't. The entire property is all in the forest, in the jungle, surrounded by mango trees and other things, so you just don't see the ocean when you're on the property at the Westin until you actually walk out to the beach. While the rooms at the W are still crisp in their first life cycle after being built new in 2018, the rooms at the Westin are older, the buildings are older, but the rooms at the Westin just got a full makeover in 2024. The Westin has just a few basic room types. Even though the names are confusing, there's only a few basic room types at the Westin. Meanwhile, the W has an extensive list of all different kinds of rooms and suites and views and room types. Fifth, let's talk about the most significant difference between the Westin and the W, and that is the food and drinks. Now, you probably already know that the Westin is all-inclusive while the W is not, but there's some specific factors here that are worth considering in addition to just whether it's all-inclusive or not. Obviously, the biggest difference is that with the Westin being an all-inclusive resort, all of your food and drinks are going to be covered, whereas at the W, all of your food and drinks will be extra, unless you're a Marriott Bonvoy member, in which case it's very likely that they're gonna give you breakfast for free at Cocina de Mercado. The W does have an all-inclusive package that you can add once you've booked your stay. You can reach out to them via email or phone. It's usually a few $100s per person per day, but we don't typically opt to do that when we stay at the W for this specific reason. We actually enjoy staying at the W, having breakfast at Cocina de Mercado, and then for lunch and dinner, being able to have the freedom to get groceries and make our food to take a picnic to the beach, or explore some of the local area restaurants in Brasilito, in Potrero, in Playa Flamingo, in Tamarindo. So we actually see not having all-inclusive at the W to be somewhat of a benefit for that reason. There's also a difference here in just the number of restaurants available on each property. At the Westin, you're gonna have a nearly endless stream of restaurants and bars to visit. The reality is that you're probably not going to eat at all of the restaurants or get a drink at all of the bars during your stay at the Westin. There's just too many options. And while you might think, all-inclusive food, honestly, the food at the Westin is not your typical all-inclusive cheap food type of situation. And this is what makes it so significant that it's a Westin all-inclusive, because Marriott considers their Westin brand of hotels and resorts to be their healthy lifestyle brand. And so that means that anytime you stay at a Westin, you're getting upgraded beds so that you'll sleep better. You're getting upgraded food so that you'll eat better. You're getting an upgraded spa experience so that you'll rest better. For that reason, there are a ton of healthy, high quality food options at many of the restaurants at the Westin all-inclusive. It also means that they're really good at catering to specific health allergies or substitutions or preferences. Meanwhile, at the W, they're equally good about food allergies and food specifications and choices. There's just a lot less restaurant options. At the same time, all of the food at the W is going to be super high-end crafted cocktails, niche ingredients, super luxury, but also not included in your stay unless you pay for the upgraded all-inclusive package. Now, if you get the upgraded all-inclusive package at the W, that also means that you can get a ride from the concierge over to the Westin right next door and eat at any of their restaurants as well. You take that comparison of the restaurants and you can pretty much copy paste that to the bars at the Westin and the W as well. There are quite a few more bars and bar options at the Westin, and they're all inclusive, while the W has fewer but much fancier bars than the Westin does. This is getting pretty nitpicky and down into the details, and it's really more of a vibe thing than it is a bars thing, but all of the bars at the W, you're gonna have a view of the ocean. Whereas all of the bars at the Westin, you're not. Again, for the same reasons as mentioned before. And there's just something special about looking out at the ocean while you enjoy your drink and your conversations. Now let me make some practical recommendations to you about who we think should stay at each one of these resorts. Let's tackle these resorts one at a time. You should probably stay at the W Costa Rica if these things are true of you. If you are going on your honeymoon or for an anniversary trip as a couple. I say that because of the adult-leaning vibes, the sunset DJ sets, the mixology classes. This is very much that kind of a vibe at the W. Design lovers, the Instagram crowd, you should stay at the W if you can. The sleek architecture, the killer balcony views, the mood lighting, all of this really leans heavy into gorgeous photos on your trip. Foodies and cocktail explorers should stay at the W. If you prefer curated menus over buffets and you don't mind the pay-as-you-go pricing, the W is for you. Small friend groups like golf buddies wanting to hit the course or a ladies getaway weekend, this is your jam. the intimate scene, the easy golf cart hops to the course or to the beach club. If you're a Bonvoy point burner, you've just got a deep balance in your Bonvoy account and you want to rock this thing and cash it all in on one big trip, you should stay at the W. If you're a solo traveler, or you're a traveler with no kids, or you're just looking for a less kids vibe, you should lean towards the W as well. On the flip side, you should probably stay at the Westin Reserva Conchal if these things are true of the trip you're wanting to take. If you're a family with hungry teens or snack happy littles, you're gonna wanna lean towards the Westin Reserva Conchal because endless buffet access, ice cream stations, not having to worry about the food budget are a big plus for the Westin for your trip. If you're a multi-generation group, this property is flat, stroller friendly, wheelchair friendly, walker friendly. There's a giant lagoon pool that's specifically geared towards the kids being able to play while mom and dad grab drinks at the swim up bar and grandma and grandpa lounge in the chairs on the pool side. There's also an adult only area of the Westin that would allow grandparents to be able to escape, have some quiet time to themselves for just a little bit, grab a drink and have some conversation, just the two of them, get some rest and recuperation before they jump back into the grandkids mode. And the adults only area at the Westin is a lot more private, where the kids aren't gonna see you there. Whereas at the W, the adults only area is visible from the area where the kids are gonna be having breakfast or lunch. Now, if you're going on your honeymoon, but you're extremely budget conscious, then the Westin might be the perfect spot for you. You're not gonna be disappointed by the Westin on your honeymoon. And all of the free activities, free food, free drinks mean you're just not gonna have to worry about the budget. If you're needing extra beds, you should lean towards the Westin. A basic room at the Westin includes a fold-out couch, which is gonna basically give you an extra bed without having to bump up a room category to get another bed like you would need to do at the W. If you're staying at either one of these resorts, there's gonna be a number of videos on our channel that you're gonna wanna check out for some additional information. But specifically, let me encourage you to check out our ultimate guide to the W Costa Rica and our series, The Ultimate Guide to the Westin Reserva Conchal. Have a great trip.